cosplay world, we are going to be making Yuna staff from Final Fantasy X. Yes, and as you imagine, it is very nice to do water shoots with. In fact, I was trying to get it to work with water photo shoots, but we ran into a slight snag. Though I tried to seal it with, exterior paint and varnish and things like that, wax, jeez. Water found its way in through the surfaces, and it swelled up. MDF is not suitable for water, so if you're looking to do water shoots or be at a water park or things like that, which is a common thing these days, awesome, go cosplayers. I recommend going to my PVC sheeting, and if you've watched my videos, you've probably seen me work with PVC sheeting, and use that, because PVC sheeting does not care about water. It is a bit weaker, MDF is much stronger, so there is that, but if you're doing underwater shoots, UP plastic does not care about water. So I would be cutting this out with a scroll saw. I drafted this by hand off camera because drafting is boring. I think if I wanted a more precise, what I would do is I would find the picture and then I would go to my Cricut and have it draft out the pattern by hand. Cricut is a machine that will cut fabric, or no, it'll cut paper and things like that. So with a more intricate design or something that has a lot of balance, I'm thinking about switching to using Cricut for those sorts of things. Also, I could possibly sell the patterns to you guys, and you guys can pop it out later or print it on your printer and things like that. So we are using MDF. Now, MDF has a range of thicknesses, which is awesome because we can have a nice 1/8 inch thickness section for the parts that are blue on the inlays, and then a heavier 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, I'm going to say 1/4 inch, for the thicker sections, and this allows us to create these details without having to fiddle with tiny little pieces to glue in. They'll be essentially one big piece that is just layered and sandwiched. The only thing we have to do then is sand and round out the pieces before we glue them together. Otherwise, it could be a pain in the butt to sort of make them look even and smooth. And as you might imagine, I did the sanding and the smoothing off camera. If you really want to see me sanding, just imagine me going at it with like a sanding sponge or sandpaper for like 2 hours. But that's far less interesting. So the head is detachable. The way we're going to attach it is via this PVC pipe, and we have cut a slit in the side, and then we're screwing it to the base. The MDF actually had a little peg in it for me to bind into, and allows it to give it more stability. It's just about an inch and a half of material at the bottom, which gives it stability. And then we're going to kind of sculpt Bondo. As you can see, the PVC pipe doesn't have a tip on it, and it's not exactly round. So to fill it in, to smooth it out, to give it the correct shape, we're going to go with Bondo and round all of that out. And make it more even, and it's going to fit onto a aluminum pipe. Again, where it's going to be designed for water, so the aluminum pipe is obviously totally cool with going underwater, and it's going to slot in to the base of the staff. Another reason for the head to be detachable is that some conventions have height rules or length rules, and we want to have it have the option of going to those cons if it need be. Generally, also shipping is an issue, so making sure it fits in your car is not a pain in the butt to go around. And the more susceptible to damage head, we want to take care of that so we can put that in a safer space if it's a more confined individual piece. So as you can see, we've got it all in one piece. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run around the edge, and I'm going to seal up all of the edges with Bondo. And I'm going to go into all the edges, and I'm going to fill it in with a bit of sealer, just like a wax. No, not wax. I seal the whole thing with varnish and the floor wax stuff. That's waterproof. It's a pain in the butt. So we're going to transition to the handle with a PVC pipe. There is a little trim, and we're going to trim around the head of the staff, and we're going to use that as a transition point to break the staff apart. So the smaller section of the pipe is also going to have a flange. We're going to heat up the PVC pipe and kind of stretch it and make it a little bit wider. This is a trick. I use like a glass Coke bottle, and this allows us to kind of give it a bell shape. It doesn't give it much of a bell shape. You can't really give it a huge amount, but it'll give it a more dynamic shape than just a flat cylinder. So for the tip, we have this nice piece of PVC pipe, and we're going to cap it off with the wood dowel. Now all we have to do to make this cap is heat up the PVC pipe and then snugly fit the 1/2 inch dowel into it. So 1/2 inch in pipes typically refers to the flow or the internal diameter, because what they really care about is how much space is on the inside. With wood dowels, that is the true diameter, the outer diameter, and that is 1/2 inch. So they will almost not fit together because 1/2 inch on 1/2 inch, they don't have a lot of wiggle room. But when you heat up the PVC pipe, it expands through thermodynamics, woo, and it allows you to slide it in quite easily. Boom. And then we're going to drill a hole in that wood dowel inside the PVC pipe, and then cap that off with this kind of disc I've made. I just cut out a circle and I rounded off the edge with a rasp and sanded it to smooth. And then we're going to put a hook or a ring. Use a loop, and that's what we're going to be attaching our bell to. Boom, and it snaps on, and I just use a screwdriver to tighten it on, and boom, that's going to be the tip of our staff. And here you go. Here you see me again. What happens with the thermal expansion is that it can cause the edges to like flay out and flange a little bit. So I'm rounding it up so it slides inside the pipe a little easier. There we go. Yeah, and a little bit of glue could not hurt. So we're just putting glue in there. If it's still not sticking enough for you, the friction isn't good enough, maybe a screw might be an option there, but I'm going to just let that sit overnight and let the glue do its work, and it should be okay. There are a few details that we're going to be making out of Worbla. Honestly, they're just details. You can make this out of anything. You can make this out of cardstock. You can make this out of EVA foam. I was actually just kind of being lazy here. Worbla will stick to this. I didn't have to worry about adding glues and the details, and it goes on super easy, and I was like, I'm doing this on camera. I just want to get this done. So we have a few layers of trim, and they're going to stick onto the surface and be just fine. So I have bondoed it. I have base coated it. I have put wax down on it on the inside. I put exterior paint, which I feel like exterior paint would be waterproof, but apparently water just found its way in. And then over the exterior paint, I put acrylic paint, and then I put wax, and then I put varnish. I thought I protected it. I thought the thing was waterproof. Actually, on the inside where the PVC pipe attaches to the head, you can totally get water in there. There's nothing protecting it at all. So if water got in through that connection point, nothing was stopping it actually. So with this final detail, we have a bit of ribbon, and we're going to put a bead of glue, and I want to make sure that bead of glue is going to be on a space that's going to be layered a few times, because I don't want that showing up. And then every once in a while I put a tiny little bit of glue. Too much will cause the ribbon to look uneven and nasty, and it'll soak through the fabric. So be careful. It's just kind of make sure that the ribbon keeps spacing and it remains even. We don't want it to be loose and kind of shifting up and down. It could come undone, or it could kind of just come off even. Yeah, pretty simple. And as we go, we're going to cut it at an angle so that it trims up neatly, and maybe even go in with the scissors and trim up that edge a little bit cleaner than that, and wrap it around a few times, and it's just a bit of hot glue there to finish that up. We have primed all the gold sections in gold, and then once I was done, I came in with a bit of blue metallic acrylic paint, and that's all the blue sections on the piece. A bit of ribbon, and that's all we need to attach the bell. I believe that's pretty much it. I'm going to make it again, but I'm just going to make the head out of PVC, like you see me make the head, or make things out of PVC before. Next up, we're going to make her little flower star detail for her Obi. Hope you guys checked it out. Good times to all. Hey, over at finalcosplaycore.com, we have a ton more cosplay awesomeness. You should check it out. Rah!